Hi, my name is Alex, and I will be going over the general feedback user story. My user story is, as a student or faculty member, I would like to provide feedback on different areas of the overall VIP program so that the PI can evaluate the program. My acceptance criteria are: questions will be populated from the database, students and faculty may submit feedback, and feedback will be stored anonymously. Now we'll show you the diagram. I have two use case diagrams, one for the student and one for the faculty. The student can access the feedback form, and here the faculty member can also access the feedback form. My sequence diagram is merged with the group. Mine starts at number 15, evaluate the program. Will take you to the feedback page. The page will retrieve questions from the repository, which will return the questions, and then the page will display to the faculty. The faculty can then submit the evaluation. The page will post the evaluation data to the repository. The repository will then send a confirmation message, which will be displayed. For the class diagram, I'll start on the front end. The feedback form is the view for the page. Here are the functions to display questions and capture form data. The Angular router will route us to our controller. At the controller, we have an array of questions that we get from a RESTful API, and we have an add feedback function that sends data to the database. The service is where the actual calls to the APIs are made. We have one function to get the questions and one to post the feedback. Next, we have the express router will connect us to our model in the backend. Here's the feedback model, which is just a list of feedbacks. Now we'll show you the code on GitHub. I'll start on the front end here again. We have some headers here, and this is the form. We have 3 ng repeats. Each one will go through the list of questions and display only the questions of a certain type. The first one will display all the scale-based questions, next all the true-false questions, and then the short answer questions. Here we have the submit button, which will be disabled until all of the questions have been answered. Next, we have the controller. The first thing the controller does is get the questions and store it on the controller. I have an add feedback function that is called when the submit button on the page is pressed. This sends the form to the backend. It calls the create feedback function of the service, and then here it resets the form. Next, we have the service, which makes the calls to the APIs. The create feedback will post feedback information, and the get questions will get the questions. At the end, we have FB for feedback, so we'll only get the questions for the feedback form. Next, we have the API that handles the post. It simply goes through the list and adds the questions and its answers to the schema. Here, it saves the schema in the database. And lastly, we have the feedback schema or the model. Since the feedback is saved anonymously, it is just a list of feedbacks. A shortcoming of this feature is that it does not distinguish whether a student or faculty member has submitted the feedback. Also, we didn't have time to develop a feature to display the feedback to the PI. Thank you.